The Walt Disney Company is hard at work constructing Villain's Land at the Magic Kingdom. Or are they? Recent pictures of the space have shown us that, well, not a lot's being done over there to bring the land of Maleficent, Ursula, the Evil Queen, and their cohorts to life. Let's talk about it today on That Park Place. Vash, this is what Villain's Land is, conceived to look like. I actually am kind of the mindset of just like drinking this this concept art, because there is a 0% chance that it actually looks like this.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Don't get married to the concept art, folks. It'll likely never look like this. We saw this with. Okay, please.
Go ahead.
We saw this with Galaxy's Edge. We've seen it with like Tiana's Bayou Adventure. That's probably the most extreme example, but still, Disney is known to
New
not follow the concept art.
Yeah, Fantasyland, I would say, is an even more extreme example. It's completely different.
Completely, 100%. So these things change.
So all of this work, Vash, all of this, theming, all of these giant rock formations, you got to think that like the work is underway, and we're gonna see this sometime soon, right?
Of course.
Wrong. Yeah, wrong. Because this is what it looks like right now. It's from Bio Reconstruct on X. So as you can see here, Vash, right here is kind of where you have Cars Land. This area right here. And from what we can see, they are actually they have this concrete wall laid out in Cars Land. So one entire calendar year, Vash, July now to August, July 2025 to August 2026. So almost 12 months, actually more than 12 months, because it closed down 4th of July weekend. All they've managed to do is fill this in with dirt and build this one concrete wall that runs along the edge. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
not quite the same enthusiasm that we saw with Cars Land when it was being installed at in Disney California Adventure starting in 2007, nor the enthusiasm we saw for the entire company when they were installing Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at their respective parks for their 2019-2020 debuts there. I would have expected more.
Yeah, let's now take a look at where Villain's Land is going to be. It's this area right here, this big, huge area over here. And Vash, I don't know if you notice, from this angle, there's nothing there.
There's
more than a year, 13 months, and this is a giant sand pit.
Right. And that, I think it speaks to maybe how far along they are in this whole process, right? I know there are permits that have been filed, but you would think that with the filing of those permits, we would have seen those structures, at least footings by now. We're not even really seeing that, which is pretty discouraging right there. And it does kind of track with what the company has released, right? We've seen a number of different concept art, pieces of concept artwork for Cars Land, or this Cars themed area, I think is what they called it today on the earnings call. So that suggests, okay, that's more developed. But Villain's Land, we only have that one piece of concept artwork, and we've gotten some research trips and maybe some conjured architectural styles, I do believe is what they're going with, but not much more than that. Very vague, and we've even heard, behind the scenes that plans may have changed. Now I've been told that plans are still going forward with their original concepts, but still, it doesn't speak to the to the development of this land.
Check this out, Vash.
Please.
Track layout complete. The final pieces are now in for the new Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift roller coaster at Universal Orlando Resort. It has not been a year for them to have been constructing this.
That's true.
It's done
up pretty quick.
I was just there the other day, Vash, and the only thing left to do was to add this one little piece of track that was incomplete, and now they've added it. The track is there. This attraction is essentially constructed now. Meanwhile, at the Magic Kingdom, we've got a dirt pit. After what they're saying here is 392 days of work has led to one concrete wall and nothing. And yes, they filled in the river, they demolished the other stuff. that should not have taken a year.
No. You got to think, back in the day, Marvin, Disneyland itself was built within a year. Now, not Disneyland we all know. It's a very simplistic form of Disneyland if you go back to 1955, but it was completed in a year. When the company is, has some initiative, if it is incentivized to actually move on this work quickly, well, then you get a universal type timeline where these things go in ultra fast. Versus this, I mean, we're still moving around dirt, and like Marvin said, this is well over a year by this point. Just to me, this is why I'm thinking Villains Land is going to be the very last project here, and I think the company, they don't quite mind that because there's a lot of infrastructural upgrades that they are wanting to implement for this entire resort.
So I think also what we're going to see here is I think everyone kind of has this idea in their head that Cars Land and Villains Land are going to open together.
No,
that is not going to happen.
No way.
Cars Land will open probably in what I would say 2029, maybe.
Yeah,
2028.
I mean, if they're really pushing it, maybe 2028, but more likely 2029.
Which means Villains Land you're probably not getting until 2030
at the earliest. Correct.
Yeah, maybe 2031 even. I mean, also Villains Land looks, at least from what I'm looking at right here, unless some of this is going to be backstage areas, Villains Land looks like it's going to be considerably larger than Cars Land.
Yeah, Cars Land, I believe the estimate that I've heard is about 4.5 acres. I think that's the kind of conclusion that everybody's coming to, which is, by the way, a far cry from what DCA currently experiences with its Cars Land. That's well over, I believe, like 12, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little spit of nothing. It's gonna be absolutely nothing.
Right, which is why they've changed the ride system. Right, they don't want anything with speed. Now they're going for sensation. It's gonna be slow moving because they don't have a lot of land to work with.
That's exactly what everybody wants out of a Cars ride, Vash, is sensation and not speed.
Yeah, we're gonna be going over the rough and tumble there on the outskirts of Plains Land.
I understand laying the track for a roller coaster is a much different thing than having to install all the infrastructure for these new lands, and I guess that's what they do. But like we're looking right here, and it doesn't look like they're doing much work at all in Villains Land. It looks like they've just put up this wall here.
Yeah, it seems to me that they really had maybe a vague idea of what they wanted to do when it was officially announced in 2024, and now they're still developing, which is why they really haven't moved on this, because I don't think, Marvin, they're too sure of what they're going to be doing here. Now, we might get more details at D23, but as you can see right here, I think the development process on this has been extended versus some of the other projects that we see, like Monsters Inc., for example, right? We have a show building that is basically almost entirely constructed by this point. I think that goes the same with Encanto over there in Animal Kingdom. You would think that they would have the same fervor for something like this, but they clearly don't. They're putting their resources in other places, and I think, like you said, Marvin, they're timing this out so that Cars Land will have its day in the sun, and so will this.
Yeah, I agree. So, what's on your bucket list for Villains Land? What would you like to see there?
I'd love to see Maleficent, a Maleficent kind of dragon type structure right there. I think would be really, really awesome. We do see that in the concept art. Now again,
the dragon roller coaster, maybe even.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, possibly, which would actually be an adaptation of what they originally intended for Animal Kingdom with Beastly Kingdom, which is kind of very, very interesting. So something Maleficent right there.
That ended up becoming Dueling Dragons over at Universal's Islands of Adventure.
Right. Oh, you know your history. Very good. Yep. But no, I would love to see a twisted Fantasyland, right? I do think this kind of corrupted architecture that they're talking about actually sounds very, very interesting.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
I'd love to see it a little bit more adult heavy, but we'll see. Go ahead, Marv.
It looks like we've got a roller coaster track over here that's covered in Maleficent thorns, and then we got a roller coaster that's underground here. There's a 0% chance that happens. Yeah, the ground looks like it's bioluminescent, which again, they've had such issues with that in Avatar.
Yes.
That I don't know. This over here looks like it might be the stepmother's chateau. Lady Tremaine's house?
Yeah, I kind of see that. You see like a village type thing.
Yeah.
You know, in one of the quadrants there.
Yeah.
You do see a Maleficent dragon
there's
breathing
Maleficent.
fire.
She's right there breathing fire.
Which could be cool, and you see the thorns and everything like that, which could be awesome. But like you said, Marvin, see these waterfalls alongside of the roller coaster right there.
And I know.
We can't even get consistent waterfalls for Big Thunder.
Yeah.
What are we thinking? There are going to be multiple waterfalls. Like
they've got waterfalls pouring down off the castle. Like, well, this is definitely Maleficent's castle.
Yes.
There's no way it's going to look like this. But regardless of whether it ever looks like this, Vash, right now it looks like this. And you know, this is not where anyone thought they would be at this point in time. So what is Villain's Land going to end up being? Is it going to ever, you know, end up being? Will we see it in this decade? Probably not. So let us know in the comments, guys, what you want to see from Villain's Land and what year you think we're going to actually see it. I would love to hear what you guys have to say.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.